What's up, y'all? Welcome to our YouTube channel, Africans Talk Football. Appreciate your guys' continued support. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.
So, welcome back to another episode of Africans Talk Football, where we bring you fresh soccer news highlighting the Africans and African Americans who have seen success within the sport. We'll also bring you news from our favorite teams in the Premier League, MLS, NWSL, as well as informing you on other top European leagues and soccer news worldwide. Whether this is your first episode with us or you've been rocking with us from the jump, again, just want to say thank you. Thank you to all of our friends and supporters. Once again, my name is Cornelius. I'm joined by my boys and fellow co-hosts. Mike, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, man. It's been a great week of football, so I can't complain. I'm in a good mood. How about you, Salam?
Very good, man. Cinco de Mayo is tomorrow. Is mañana. So, all is well. Gabriel?
Can't complain, man. Can't complain. Cornelius, how you feeling?
It's been a great week. Full of soccer, like Mike said. It's also the NBA playoffs. Our team took an L today, so I'm wearing all black. I'm still supporting the Cavs, but I am wearing all black. A little accent though, because my teams went 1-1 today. We'll get to that a little bit later, but
Cavs
not
fine.
feeling the worst. But before we get into our teams, I honestly had I wanted to bring up something that I thought was super interesting. Many of you may remember that Cesc Fabregas, Spanish legend, English Premier League legend, he became the manager of Como over in Serie A, and they're staying up. They were fighting relegation at the beginning of the season. He came in before January. I believe he had a few January transfers. I can't remember exactly who they were, but he picked up a few players. And they're currently sitting 10th with 3 matches left to go in Serie A. And so just want to say it'll probably be overlooked just because there are a lot of big stories in Europe this year. But shout out to Cesc Fabregas, his first year in the top league. We look at a lot of these players who have now become coaches, in that era when, the mid 2000s to 2010s, a lot of those players, Xabi Alonso is rumored to go to Real Madrid. It's pretty much a done deal at that point. We looked at Frank, obviously Arteta, Pep, Guardiola as well. So a lot of these guys are becoming managers, and seeing what they're doing in Europe has been pretty cool, especially as a fan of some of these guys as well. Chef's obviously being a Chelsea and an Arsenal player. So just shout out to him, man. He's doing his thing, and just wanted to say, I got you, young blood. I see what you're doing over there. So shout out to Como. We'll see what they do next year in Serie A with the whole summer of transfers. It'll be interesting to see what that team does. But just wanted to give him a little shout out. But yeah, man, NWSL. Like I said, we all started supporting a team in the NWSL. And it's actually crazy because the team I'm supporting, the Washington Spirit, they lost this weekend. Very, very, very fun match. 4-3 to Angel City FC. Shout out to the Thompson sisters. Giselle Thompson scores her first professional goal on an assist from who else but her sister, Alyssa Thompson.
Fire.
Bro, it got goosebumps, man. There's nothing more in the world that you want to do than become pro, and to do it with your sibling, and then for you guys to be on the same team, and then to score your first goal as an assist. And the finish was crazy, like the finish was actually insane. That game actually finished 4-3 from a 95th minute winner off a Christian Press flick off a corner. Tough loss for the Washington Spirit. I honestly was rooting for them. It was very, very back and forth. They had the lead, lost the lead, brought it back, and then to lose in that fashion was pretty tough. But Angel City needed that win. It took them into double-digit points on the season now. Washington, I believe, is in 4th place now on the season, so they're still doing decently. But yeah, this has been an exciting start to the NWSL season. There's just been a lot of goals, honestly, and a lot of things to look forward to. So just wanted to say shout out to Angel City FC for the win. But Washington, that's tough, but keep your head held high. That was a good fall. That was a good fall game for sure. What about you, boys? Anything happened this weekend on your team?
Yeah, well, Bay FC is currently playing San Diego FC, and it's currently 1-1. So, kind of skating by right now. We had a good save, a penalty save actually, that kept us 1-1 currently. So got the first goal. They scored about 8 minutes later, and then about 8 minutes after that, actually, they had a penalty shoot, a kick, and it was saved. So shout out Jordan. She's our goalkeeper, BFC. So shout out Jordan. Got a save, but still looking. San Diego's definitely on it right now. So it's on in the background. So 1-1. Hopefully we can get out 2-1. If not, get out with a draw and get a point. But yeah, it's looking tight right now.
Yeah, I don't know about Salam. Did your team play this weekend or
Yeah, Gotham tied.
Gotham, right?
Yeah, 0-0.
Today.
Dominated possession, controlled about 60% of the ball.
Mhm.
Outshot Chicago in terms of shots on goal, but just couldn't find the back of the net. Really missed Rose Lavelle. Her absence is
Lost him. Lost him for a second.
oh man, my back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
you're back
back.
No, yeah, I was saying sorry. I was saying Roosevelt's absence is obviously huge, but I thought the match was good, man. I thought it was a great example of what makes the NWSL, so just compelling right now. I mean, this weekend we saw Orlando lose and Kansas City lose,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and Gotham dropped points too. So I think that's the top three in the league. So,
Yeah.
still a top tier team, man. I just think that today, I think the difference was just that creativity in the final third and not being able to put the ball in the back of the net. But hopefully she can come back soon, and we can maintain where we're at in the league.
All right. My team is currently playing Gabriel's team, San Diego Wave. We're playing Bay FC right now. I want to shout out Kennedy Wesley, center back, 24-year-old, pretty good defender. She got us the goal right now. So we're hoping that we can hold at home. We're currently at home right now. So hopefully we walk away with the result, Gabriel. I'm sorry you guys will have to donate your 3 points this week.
Nah.
But is this your
Listen.
turn? We're hoping that, this will help us move up the table. But yeah, shout out to my girls.
No, yeah, it seems like up and down week for some of us. Some of us are playing each other. But yeah, all of our teams currently, I believe most of our teams are in playoff spots right now. So very, very early start to the season, but it's gonna get, we've already seen some injuries and some teams start to need some extra boost. So we'll see what happens through the rest of this NWSL season. But moving over to the MLS, our Ohio teams actually did not both get the win this weekend. Columbus getting the 4-2 win. However, Cincinnati fell to New York. Let's start with you, Salam. Columbus and Cincinnati were the first and second team, respectively, heading into this weekend. You two have had some friendly fire over the last couple of weeks, talking about who the best team in the Eastern Conference or the league is this year. But scoreless for the first time in a little bit. What happened in New York? Do you think they had an answer for Yankee or
they've been hitting the bodegas too much, man. They hit the bodega at 5 a.m. Man, get enough sleep, man.
Bodega boys, huh?
Looking sluggish out there. Them breakfast sandwiches slapping. Had a little bit too much oil on them. You feel me?
Yeah.
They said, "Buddy, come back. I'll give you another one for free."
Too many chopped cheeses, huh, Salam?
He's out.
I guess his network is giving him issues.
Right.
Trying to run Windows on the Mac. That's what happens. Cincy, man, I feel like they'll be fine. Nah. Cincy would be good, bro. Cincy would be fine, man. They just
that's the thing. I want to know because it's been a while since they've been able to hold Denki. You know, like he's
Mm-hmm.
been. Like Salam said from the beginning of the year, he thought he would be the Golden Boot winner. He's
Mm-hmm.
off to a great start. So to hold him, I know there's no Evander, but what do you think? What do you think it was in New York? Too many chopped cheese?
Hey, oh man,
Mm-hmm.
bodegas. But no, I mean obviously, yeah. You know what it was? I think that we had a terrible start to the game, a very rough 12 minutes. I think we got punished off of a mistake that we had, and it was a great goal by Julian Fernandez. Great finish, and then shortly after that, we gave up a penalty that was missed. He missed it. He hit the post, and it went out. But I mean, ultimately, I felt like that start in the game was really the difference in the game. Just the poor start. I feel like we've had poor starts a few times this season, and this time it cost us. So yeah, man. I think the game ended 2-1 nil, and if you didn't watch the game, you would probably thought that there wasn't that many opportunities, but we didn't capitalize off the opportunities that we created, and I mean they hit the post twice, so including the penalty. So I mean, yeah, man, it's just tough. As we talked about, like the MLS is tough, man. It's competitive. We went from being the most informed team 5 games in a row, and that winning streak is now snapped. And this is NYCFC's second win in a row, second 1-0 win in a row. So shout out to them. I think that they did a good job of executing their game plan, and we got to be better in front of goal.
Yeah, I think it's just a small blip for you guys. I'm not looking into this too much. Honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I think NYC definitely could have finished their chances. You could have been more clinical, but I feel like you go through those ebbs and flows throughout the season, and I feel like this is just one of those small little dips. You've been traveling a little bit, you go to New York, get caught slipping, and I feel like you guys be back next week. I really don't put too much stock into this one.
Yeah, we need Miazga back to being what he was last season because he just looks like someone who is. He had a rough game, and I was glad that Pat Noonan subbed him off. But you know, if we're gonna be, as good as I think that we can be, it's with him in the picture, and we need him, you know, rolling come the end of the season, especially after the All Star break. So yeah, man, get well soon.
No, that's a fair assessment. I agree with Gabriel. I think it's a blip. You guys have looked great all season. Like I said, coming into the weekend, you guys being 1-2, Columbus and Cincinnati. But yeah, man, Columbus. I brought some
Yeah.
props today. Columbus got the 3 points, my boy. Man, so Saturday I picked up Gabriel from the airport, and we got home, around midday, and we honestly just sat down and watched footy. It started with the USL Championship. We watched. We caught the end of the Charleston Battery game. They look good. First of all, Charleston looks really good this year. They won 4-2 against Hartford at home, but we were waiting for the NBA game at 7:30, and then the Columbus Crew also started at 7:30. So we were kind of going back and forth, and the NBA game became a blowout. And so when we switched back to the Crew game, it was 3-2 at that point. And I was like, it was still nervy. It was pretty nervy. And then Russell Rowe gets the goal to make it 4-2. And it was interesting. They said that Russell Rowe wasn't supposed to get the start. That guy's dad he got hurt in running up before the match.
Mhm.
And when I saw Jalen Russell Rowe score, before the announcer said that, I said, bro, that he needed that for his confidence. And before even knowing that he wasn't supposed to start, I just felt for him. I was like, that's one of those goals where you get that goal, you clinch that win for your team on a game where you may not have even
Mhm.
played before. And that's what you need to maybe get him going a little bit, because he had a great start. Now he's not starting anymore, but when I saw him score that as an athlete, what that does for your confidence. So just want to say shout out to him. But Mike, that was it was a back and forth match for real.
Yeah, it was actually a pretty decent game. We're able to host Charlotte this weekend, and luckily for us, we got to see Wilfred Zaha back in the lineup. So it was definitely an intense game for us. But overall, I thought we were the better team on the night. We had better chances than they did. They did have some good chances that they just couldn't put
Hmm.
away. But I thought we did have, very good chances. Dylan Chambeau's, his first goal for the Columbus Crew, and it might be his first goal in the MLS. I'm not sure. But shout out to him, man. He's played very well, decently whenever he's been given the opportunity. He's played very well, And like you said with Russell Rowe, man, I know I said a couple of weeks ago, it's not even his fault. It's really not his fault. He needed that goal for his confidence, just like Rossi needed the PK. I think, like I said earlier, he can be a great player for us. Russell Rowe can be a great player for us. He just needs help. He cannot be, as of right now, our number one striker. He's just not equipped yet for it. Um, he's getting some experiences in the last couple of seasons, but he's still not there yet. And for him to get that goal, it's a very good confidence boost. Shout out AZO Jackson, another guy that seems to just perform whenever he's given the opportunity. So it was good to see him also score. And this was a very good win for us, man. This was a commanded
Absolutely.
win, especially Charlotte team that has been great this year. This was a very good win for us. So it was nice to see our boys, back home. The weather wasn't too nice, so we didn't have a big home crowd, but they were able to get the result, come out the game with a 4-2 win. You can't ask for more than that. And currently sitting pretty at the top of the table. I was hearing some noise from back down south. The boys were making a little bit of noise, but we had to quiet them down a little bit. So we're looking good, man. I like where we are right now. But we still need that striker, I believe, to cap everything off if we want to go deep in the playoffs this year. But so far, so good. No complaints. Um, Happy for the result. Look forward to next week.
Yeah, what it's crazy. Two things really stood out to me this week were Morera and Farsi on the right side. I know Zaha got his
Yeah.
goal, 100%. I know he got his
Hmm.
PK goal, but just watching the match, he really didn't get too much off. He really didn't
No.
do too much. It wasn't really that threatening, and I think that has a lot to say with Farsi and Morera on that right side. They did a really good job at just containing him. You can only do so much when it comes to the penalty, but and in terms of just the flow of play and keeping him out of the play as much as possible. And I think they did a
Hmm.
very good job of that. And then the second thing that really stood out for me, and I think his presence and his calmness and his poise really took over, especially after the second goal by Russell Rowe was scored, was Darlington Nagbe,
Number
100%.
six.
Yeah.
Number
Hmm.
six.
I feel like, what, it was 3-2. It was still a little frantic. Even
Hmm.
Nagbe a little bit sometimes, it just seemed just a little, on edge. Everyone was a little bit on edge because it was back and forth. And, you know, both teams were getting chances. So it was kind of dangerous on both ends. But once Russell Rowe was able to get that goal, I think, it settled the whole team down. But I think, that starts with Nagbe, and he's the captain and he's the leader, and I think he was really able to kind of spread that calmness throughout the entire squad just through his play.
Hmm.
After that, it was very simple by him. Even if he was getting pressed, they really couldn't touch him. After that, it was just let's see this game out. Let's not concede, and then let's just see it out. So those are two of the really big things that stood out for me with Columbus this week. Just shout out to Russell Rowe, of course, for getting that goal, but Herrera and Farsi and Nakby, just it's very hard to find players who give you consistent 8 out of 10s week in, week
Hmm.
out, and sometimes even will just give you 9 out of 10s for weeks on end. And Nagby again, just time and time again, just proves that he is that player, he is that leader, he is that captain, and he leads by example. So those are two really big things that stood out to me this week. But great win by Columbus for sure, and great for them to kind of widen that gap at the top for 2 points, because I don't want to speak too much, but Philadelphia Union looked amazing this week.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to start there. I know I don't know if we're done talking about our Ohio teams, but that's one team I wanted to highlight this week. if you haven't gone and watched Philadelphia Union at all this season, I highly suggest that you all go and watch them. The the football that they're playing is immaculate. Honestly, it is top tier football. The interplay that I've seen with this team this season is dangerous, bro. It's dangerous. I mean, if you just look at their first goal, it's just they beat the press, counterattack, boom, 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 one touch, one touch pass, one touch pass, one touch pass here, through ball. Then they slots it across, and it's a great finish by Valerosi, I believe. But yeah, no, I think I think the football that they've been playing is great. Another 2-1 win for them as well. This is a team that, you know, these are the three teams I think will be at the top the entire time. And of course, you're going to add Inter Miami is in there as well. But Cincinnati, Philadelphia, Inter Miami, and I'm going to say Vancouver as well. Those 5 teams look great. Even despite Cincinnati getting the L this week, they look great.
And it's funny enough. It's funny enough you say those 5 teams, because those are the top 5 teams, and it's just Porter sealed right now. Those are the top 5. I literally was about to read that off, and we are done talking about our Ohio teams. But Gabriel, I do want to highlight something you said about Nagby, because there was a point, like you said, it was frantic at 3-2, and me, you, and Yasser were kind of just sitting on the couch, and we all were just silent for a second, because there was a point where Columbus had the ball in the attacking third, but it wasn't working. They take it to Nagby, they bring it back, they recycle it, they kind of lull Charlotte to sleep, and then from the right side they play a long ball to the left side, and then they play one more long ball to Russell Rowe with a beautiful finish, and we all just started clapping because it was beautiful football. Just like you said, these teams in the MLS, we were joking, a decade ago, it used to be defender, long ball up to the forward, hope he can hold it up, and then the rest of the attack come. But now you're looking at these teams. Vancouver, that Carlos Hill guy is dangerous. He is the one that's pulling the strings for this Vancouver team. And a warning to every right back in the league. You're going to need 2 for Nelson on the left. That Nelson kid on Vancouver is a menace, fam. He's a menace. I mean, we're watching the Vancouver match, and in the first 15 minutes, he beat his man 3 times. I'm like, yo, this guy's going to score. And I think he scored 21, 22 minutes in. I believe it's Jason Nelson. Let me get his name right. Jaden. He is a problem for any right back in the league. I'm just going to let you know that right now. And then on the other side, they got a player over there too. So it's that team is going to be very, very dangerous. I know Gabriel was talking about Philadelphia, they play great football. Vancouver, they were playing a real Salt Lake team who's been very attack focused. They were essentially able to limit Diego Luna on the ball. I know he got a goal at the end of the match in the 96th minute, but he virtually was non-existent the whole match. This Vancouver team has only conceded 8 times this entire year. They can lock down your best player, and on the other end, they have issues. So like Gabriel said, those 5 teams, I believe he's right, man. Those are going to be the top 5 teams in the league all year. So it's been fun to watch, man. We're 11 weeks in, but the league is definitely starting to take shape. You can definitely see who the front runners are early on in the league.
I feel like this, and I feel like this is the time where we're going to start. I feel like after 10, 11 matches is where you really start to see teams start to begin to hit that mid-season stride. I know we're not technically mid-season yet, but we're going to hit that. Teams are finally getting in that groove. Players who have potentially never played together before are starting to find that connectivity and starting to sync. And, for the teams that already have that great head start for the 5 teams I just spoke about, that's great. And it's only going to continue. And I feel like, once these teams start to hit that mid-season stride, it's going to be hard to stop them. It's going to be extremely hard to get points off of them. So, I'm definitely looking forward to the rest of the league. But those 5 teams are really they're really standing out to me at this moment in time.
Yeah, I agree. I think Vancouver will be one team I'll be very surprised if they're not at the end when it comes to the playoffs. I think this team can go all the way. they can possibly win the whole thing. But I still want to keep an eye on them, see how they hold up at least in the middle, getting to the end of the season. Because I mean, I have no complaints. They don't seem to make any mistakes like that. They just beat Inter Miami to go to the final, the
Yep.
CONCACAF
Mhm.
Champions League final. So this team looks like they know what they're doing. They know what they want out of the season. They're very focused. Attack seems to be clicking well. All the guys play for each other, and I'll be very surprised if we don't see them at the end.
I agree.
Yeah. I think our assessment. It's good that Ohio teams are in that top five, though. It's always good that the home
Absolutely,
teams are doing what they're
absolutely.
supposed to do, taking care of business. But yeah, very very early predictions. I think Gabriel was spot on with his top five. I think they'll be
Mm-hmm.
right at the top all year, and right under them, the sixth team is Charlotte. So the East, like I said a few weeks ago, is very very strong. Only Western team in the top five is Vancouver. Everyone's kind of on the outside looking in right now. So like I
Mm-hmm.
said, the East is really going to be a battleground. If you can make it out the East, you can hold your head high. So definitely going to be watching out for those battles in the East over here.
Before we move on from MLS, did you guys see Zaha's I guess post that came out not too long ago? I don't know if it was
Mm-mm.
after the Columbus Crew game or not or before, but it was something on the Snapchat saying that like, oh, here I am once again, like made out to be the scapegoat. Whenever we lose or whenever we don't play well, it's because of me. It's because of this and that. And he essentially was just kind of like, I haven't really had proper training like this whole season. I didn't really have a proper off season. He did have to miss some time because of the birth of his child not too long ago. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's why he missed the first or second game or whatever it
Mm-hmm.
was, and he was like, "It's also my first season ever playing on AstroTurf ever in my career." So it's like it's also an adjustment in that aspect. So I don't know if you guys
Mm-hmm.
saw that, but I just
No,
thought it was interesting.
I didn't see it. And if I'm being completely honest, I'm not really tapped in with Charlotte's fan base, so I don't know what the fan base is saying. But I mean, it is true, it's not something that we haven't seen before.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Zaha hate in England. When he was with Crystal Palace, a lot.
Let me ask you
From
this
media.
though.
Let me
Let me
find the
ask you
quote.
this because if you think about it, he's been out a couple of games so far this season, and it seems like whenever he doesn't play, Charlotte looks all right. They don't really miss him when he's not on the field. So, do you think the fan base are expecting when he's on the field, they should be even better with him on the field than without him?
I,
And I've seen games where he didn't play, and they look very good. And I've also seen games where he's played that they didn't look as they looked when he wasn't on the field. So,
Let me tell you the post. Let me tell you the post real quick. It
mhm,
says, "Typical. We lost the game, and somehow it's Zaha's fault." He posted to his Snapchat story. I dribble. I'm selfish. I keep it simple. I'm not doing what I'm being paid to do. I shoot. I should have passed. I pass. I should have finished my chances. I usually wouldn't reply to this stupid, but I am not a scapegoat for people to waffle about in at clubs anymore. Zaha this, Zaha that. But been for we had the best start ever and been first in the league. So please stop chapping at my name.
I mean, like I said, I really don't know what Charlotte's saying, but to answer your question, Mike, I think it's a huge adjustment for everyone. I think it's an adjustment for
mhm,
Zaha, just like you said, his first time playing on turf. I don't know if it's his first time in America, but it's his first time playing American football. You know what I mean? So, and then for Charlotte, it's the first time kind of having someone of that stature, you
true.
know,
Mhm,
on their team. So I think it's easy for a team to, in a sense, become Zaha centric when you get such a player of his stature and someone who has
mhm,
proven himself in the Premier League, right? To come over to the MLS and it's, oh, you should just be doing exactly what you did in the Prem. You know what
yeah.
I mean? And I feel like teams sometimes cater towards that and try to try to force the ball to him because this is our player, this is our guy. We can give him the ball, we can always just expect him to do wonders for us. But I think it'll take Charlotte a little bit of time and some of their players even to get the confidence to be like, I don't need to pass him the ball. Like I can do this myself. I can. I think it's going to happen. It needs to happen on both sides. I think the team just needs to come together and kind of find what that congruency and really just what works for them, and how they can mesh it. But I think it's like I said, it's early in the season, and I think Charlotte is one of those teams with all the additions that they've had, and of course with the Zaha coming to the side, this is one of those teams that I think when they hit that midseason stride and they figure it out, it's gonna look great. Zaha's he's only gonna make your team better. That's perfectly what I think. Will it work immediately 100% when he first comes? Maybe not. It might take a little bit of time. But all in all, when it's said and done, you can't tell me that over 36-40 match, however many matches that they played this season, they advanced to postseason, that they're not going to look better with Zaha than without. So right now, sure, I think they may look better than that. We used to say this. I'm not trying to compare the two, but we used to say the same thing with City. City low-key look a little bit better with Haaland. They try to cater to him too much. I think it's the same situation. They try to a little bit cater to Zaha too much. They're trying to, everyone else play their game, and when it makes sense, it makes sense. And Zaha will be Zaha, regardless. But it's just kind of finding that groove with everyone. So that's what I think it is, and I think come beginning of August, end of August, I think we're having a completely different conversation.
Yeah, and as the Charlotte fan base, I think they also need to have a little bit of patience with him. I can understand their frustration. I can understand where they're coming from,
For sure.
Because like you said, if you get a caliber of his player like Zaha, obviously you want to see the end product right away. But you also have to understand that you have to give him time to adjust. And I think so far he's done pretty well for them. But I'm not a Charlotte fan, so I can't really say how they truly feel about him. But from what I've seen, I think they've been all right. I just think with time it'll get better.
Yeah, 3 goals in 9 matches. They're 5th in the East. Like I said, 6th overall. Like I said, the East is hard. So Charlotte is expecting a lot, I feel like, very quickly. But like we all said, it's going to take time for everything to mesh. But Charlotte, you guys have a player, and I'm telling you right now, when he start hooping, he's going to be a menace. He's going to be one that no one wants to see. So it's coming. Don't worry about it. It's coming. We've seen what he's done in Crystal Palace, man, and to jump over to the pond. Let's just get into it, man. Let's just get into it. We're in match week 35. We have to talk top 4. It's about that time. We have 4 weeks left. 3 technically. There's one more match tomorrow, but most of us have 3 matches left. This top 4 race. Mike, usually I defer to you first, and I just I'm short and sweet about Chelsea, but today I got something to say, bro.
My man, chest purple. Hey,
no, man,
you have the floor, man. This is you.
Yeah, man, put on the sunglasses. Go ahead, pull up too.
Because somebody pissed me off last weekend, and he knows who he is, and he knows exactly who I'm talking to. And at the end of this season, we'll revisit. But someone said that looking at Chelsea's last 4 matches, he maybe saw us getting 4 points out of the possible 12. And so I responded, I'm not scared of anyone in the league at all. And this is what I told him. This Chelsea team has shown me that when we are all firing, there is no one in the league that can really say that they're that much better than us, right? You look at the first half of the season, we were second place behind Liverpool for most of the year, right? And then this second half of the season happened. Cole Palmer hadn't scored for 3-4 months. Nicholas Jackson was hurt. We didn't know who was starting. We had this, that, and the third go on. And somehow in the last 4 matches, we're still in the 5th place position, right? So I said, through all the ups and downs of the season, it don't matter because now we have total control over our destiny. We go see Newcastle away. We go see Nottingham Forest away. Last match of the season, Super Sunday. If we win those 2 matches, we're top 4. I know top 5 gets Champions League. I know all that. I already know all that. But this is a mentality thing. This is not about let's get into the Champions League. This is let's prove that we can be a top 4 team in the club, in the Prem. What this team showed me today was that the mentality is now let's treat every match as a final. This is what today showed me, because we played a little timid in the first half, but we got that early goal. That early goal is really, really what cemented this win. Shout out Enzo Fernandez. Because even after that goal, we still were shaky. We were shaky. Cole Palmer didn't look good in the first half at all, but he grew into the game. And that's what I need to see from someone who has had a lot of scrutiny. He's heard the noise, and I watched the press conference. I usually don't really watch pressers, but I knew who the 2 were going to be, and I knew that Cole has something to say because he needed that goal. He needed that goal to silence the haters, and for him, just get that weight off his back. Because going into these last 4, I need him to be cold Palmer. I don't need him to be, I need to force it. I need to try to get a goal. I need to try to give it. I need him to be as natural as he can possibly be, because that is when he's at his best. The last 20 to 30 minutes of the match, he's beating defenders. He's doing 1v1s. He's calling players off the ball. He's trying things. That's what I need Cole Palmer to be. Caicedo and Enzo and Lavia, because Lavia didn't play the best match, but he had some spots here and there. Our center mids, when they can break down the other center mids, win the ball, go coast to coast, when they can ping the ball back and forth, when they can control the midfield. This is the Chelsea that me and Mike are used to. This is the Chelsea me and Mike are used to. And I said Cole is back before he even got his goal. When I saw him starting to get a little bit more comfortable, when I saw how the team was revolving, it was around him, when I saw that Nicholas Jackson, who I don't even really want to be negative today, but got off the pitch 70 minutes, and we brought in Jadon Sancho, and the whole, just everyone changed a little bit. That's the Chelsea I need to see. And so for me, I said, look, if we're allowed to drop points, this Liverpool match is the only game we could drop points. For me, I see 12 out of 12 points, because now I see us going into Newcastle with the confidence we have and beating Newcastle away. Now, all respect to Manchester United, they're no longer worried about the league. They're focused on Europe. That should be a win at home. And then we go away to Nottingham Forest, who's been on a slump. And I'm telling you right now, Nottingham Forest is one game at a time, but we coming, fam. Hola, Ena, we coming. We coming. I know you used to wear these colors, fam. We're coming, because right now, this is the mentality that we have. No one can beat us. That's what today showed me. Today showed me that even if we drop here or there, or they score against us, we're coming back and no one can beat us. And shout out to Enzo Maresca, because I was upset that he had Caicedo at right back. I've been on this podcast and I've said my piece about him not having his perfect 11, not knowing who we need to go into battles. But today he got it right. And for me, I just got to tip my hat and say, well done, lad. But for me, every match, it doesn't matter who 11 is out on that pitch, has to have the same energy, the same mentality, and the same fight. This is Chelsea Football Club. Today was Chelsea Football Club. Mike, the floor is yours.
Hey man, you've said it, man. You said it. You texted me early this morning. You were like, this was the one game. If we're gonna draw points, this is the one game. And I told you, now we need all 3 today. We need all 3 today. And today's performance was vintage Chelsea. This is the Chelsea that we've just known. We've seen it from jump. This is the team we've always known. So the teams we've been watching the last couple of years is not the team we're used to. This is the performance. This is when you put on the Chelsea shirt. This is how we expect you to play. I mean, from Sanchez to Nicholas Jackson, everybody gave us a great performance. The offsides were too much with Jackson. I initially said, one offside here and there, it gets the, center backs on their toes. Like, okay, we got to keep an eye on him. but there were too many offsides. I mean, after I said that, and then I'm like, 3 more. I'm like, of course. Right when I say that, he's going to be doing this. But other than that, everybody gave us a performance. Everybody. Our midfield, yo, shout out to our midfield. Lavia, I don't know if I want to, whatever. Lavia, thank you for coming back. Anyway, I'll just say thank you for coming back because I didn't know how much we were going to need you these last 4 games. But the last two, man, that quality with this guy, if he can just stay healthy, dog, the turns, receiving the ball, you can almost not even press him. It was beautiful to watch. I'm like, wait, this is how we're playing against Liverpool's midfield? But then again, it was a lineup where, a lot of people were resting. Szoboszlai was sitting, McAllister was sitting. So I get it. We got an advantage earlier in the game. But overall, even those guys still came on. And even when those guys came on, I feel like the wheels turned even more. Like you said with Cole Palmer, we've seen in the past how he digresses as the game goes on. As the game goes on, he seems to look tired. He seems to, his passes are not as crisp. His passes are not as crisp anymore. But in this game, as the time went on, it seems like he got better. It seems like confidence was, even going through the roof as the game goes on. So it was good to see that, man. I'm right behind you, man. We're getting all 3 points out of all these last 3 games. I'm that confident. I watched Newcastle and Brighton today, and it was a very good game. Brighton was able to give them a good game, and I would say we have a better team than Brighton, so we should be able to go there next week, sitting tight on points, and give a performance. Even if we do not get all three, we need to leave St. James with a result next weekend. Under no circumstances should we walk out of there with 0 points. We need to walk out of St. James next week with results. I don't care what anybody says. 3 might be the way to go because I don't think anybody can beat us right now.
That's a tough game. That's a tough game.
Yeah,
Forest
they're
at
fighting
home.
for the same thing.
Bring them.
Exactly. We're fighting for the same
Bring them
thing.
right now.
Listen, I'll say this though.
We're
I'll
fighting
say
for the
this,
same
though.
thing, but I believe in us. I believe where we
am-
are right now. So
I'm personally rooting for you guys. I
Okay.
have my own separate agenda. I don't want Newcastle to get Champions League. I want Isak to leave. I want him to come to Arsenal. So I'm personally rooting for you guys. But at the end of the day, I think it was a great win today. Don't get it wrong. You beat the champions. Great win. But let's take it into account. They've already won.
Okay.
They don't care about the Prem anymore. And I know it. I don't want to take away from your win.
Mhm.
But this Liverpool team that you played is good. This Liverpool team that you played this week, it'll be not much easier, but it'll be a much harder match. Next week is Newcastle, right? Next week is Newcastle, right?
Yeah, Newcastle's next week.
It's going to be a much harder match against Newcastle than it is Liverpool because one, they're fighting for the same things. 2, I know that you guys are on a high right now, but bro, I don't know if you guys get 3 points there. I'm just being real, and honestly, I have a little bit more hope because Cole Palmer got a goal today. Or he didn't technically get a goal, but it was considered an own goal or whatever.
No, he got a penalty. He got.
Oh no, he had the penalty. Yeah, he got a penalty. Right, at the end, I forgot. Yeah, no, Cole Palmer got his goal today. He needed that for confidence. He hasn't scored in 3 months since January, I believe.
Yeah.
That's his first goal in the Prem since January.
Yeah.
So he needed that
3
for
months?
his confidence. Yeah, in 3-4 months. So
90 days.
yeah, he did a bid. He did a bid for sure.
90
So
days of Cole Palmer.
I think that obviously you guys need him to be at his best to get results at St. James Park like that. So you guys definitely have a better shot, but it's gonna be fun. I just hope that we don't drop out the top 4. But
Yeah, if Brentford can go to Forest and pick up two goals and 3 points at Forest, Chelsea can do the same. We can go there and get 3 points. I think Newcastle's been great, but we've been a better team than Newcastle all season. let's keep it 100. We've been a better team than Newcastle. They've made a late season push that have put them in a position to be in this race. But I think overall
I don't agree with that.
We're sitting on the same amount of points going into next week. We're literally sitting on the same amount of points going into next week.
And this was
but
my argument.
you're saying that, and yet you're saying that you've been playing. You're better than Newcastle. You've been better than Newcastle
I think
all
we've
season.
been better than them. We've had guys go out that were big part of our team. They have not lost. Did they lose Isak for a month?
Isak, yes, they did. Mike, what do you mean? They lost Isak for time this season. Did they not?
No.
So but they haven't lost him consistently for a month. We didn't have our striker for damn near a month. They've had him gone 2 weeks here and there, week here and there, but I don't think they've lost him on.
And this was the argument I was having with he who may not be named, but this is the argument. If you want to look at Newcastle and Chelsea season, you can probably say that Newcastle's been a little bit more consistent. Chelsea, we started off on fire and we went very low. I think we got to 7th or 8th at one point, and we've had to fight back. But I'll say this, and I'll say this very, very strongly. Yes, this Liverpool team, they didn't really have anything to play for. This was a big win for us, more than it was a loss for them. But when you look at the way we played and controlled the match against this Liverpool team, this shows me that we can go and control against anyone that's on the same tier or close to Liverpool. You look at how we played today, and there's really nothing that you could say that was bad about our game. Even defensively, the goal that they had off the corner, Virgil did what Virgil does. If he makes a mistake, he usually scores, and he always scores against Chelsea. So I knew he was going to get his goal. But if you look at this Chelsea team top to bottom, defensively, we were sound. In the attacking third, we probably should have put in more than 2 in the first half if Nicholas Jackson was onside 1 out of those 5 times, literally. Mm-hmm. So for me, if I look at this match, going into this Newcastle team, I've been watching them. Y'all, you know what I text in the group chat? Know thy enemy. Sun Tzu said it. Know thy enemy as thyself in 100 battles, and you will never lose. And you will never lose. I've been watching these teams. I've been watching this Newcastle team. We are not... They don't scare me. I've been watching this Nottingham Forest team. They've been dropping points these last few weeks. They don't really have it right now. When I look at our team against their team, I'll tell you right now, I'm not scared of them. I know you think that Newcastle game is going to be tough, and it will. But I think we walk in their trap, take over their trap, come back home, and get our 3 points.
Call it GRG.
GRG. I'll call it right now. I'll call it right now.
I don't think he has to call GRG because right now we're on the roll. We didn't lose. We've been winning games.
Yeah,
so.
we don't have to get right. I think we already right.
We're
right.
I can't wait.
I have full confidence we get max points through the end of the season. Full confidence.
I think you will get max points excluding this game because I think that right now I think that they're just they've just shown me a little bit more consistency. But I will give you this though. I think with you guys. If you guys show up that day, because I felt like when I watched the game today versus Liverpool, I thought like, okay, from minute 1, like you guys seemed kind of up for it. Obviously, Liverpool had some guys out, but nonetheless, I think at least for me, I've seen Newcastle just kind of show it a little bit more throughout the season, and. With you guys, it's just more of, will this player show up? Will this player show up? But I don't know. Nonetheless, though, I'm very curious to see what you guys do in the summer because I think that you guys have, you're going to be able to walk away from this season with a few guys that, you'll be able to build around. I mean, Mike told me today 20 GA from Enzo. I was honestly surprised to hear how high that number was.
Yeah, that's insane.
Like, wow, like that's pretty good. But and then Lavia too. Lavia's been on, he hasn't been healthy, but I think you guys have said too, like, Enzo clearly likes this guy because every time that he's in, Caicedo goes to right back. So, I mean, yeah, man, I think if you guys are just able to reinforce, the back line and the keeper, I think you guys will be an interesting spot.
Even shout out to Sanchez, man. Great game today, man. When he doesn't do his little games or whatever goes on in his head, He's perfect. I mean, great game today. No complaints. Like, just do
Honestly,
what
I
you
have
need to
zero
do.
complaints. I agree with Mike.
Just
I
do what
agree
you
with
need
Mike.
to do.
All right.
I don't know. And Salam, I'll end Chelsea on this, but as an impartial or as a non-Chelsea fan, I would 1,000 understand why you can see Newcastle being more consistent and why you
Yeah.
think
Mm-hmm.
they have the advantage at home. I I, I understand 1,000%, but with my bias and with how strong I see this team right now, I'm fully confident that we can beat this team. Like Mike said, if we don't and we just get a draw and we have to leave there with one, that will be okay. But under no circumstances are we leaving there with 0 points. Like I can tell you that right now, under zero circumstances, none in my mind. I can tell you right now,
They're
we're
in the
getting a
driver's
result
seat
there.
though, man. They
No,
could.
we're no. That's what you fail to realize. We are in the driver's seat.
No, they are because they're ahead of you on the table. So
Yeah.
they're in
On
the
goal
driver's seat.
differential, right? On goal differential. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
once
So
again,
if they get a draw against you, you're still in the same position that we're going to be in right
you're right.
now.
You're right.
Like
You're right. They are in the
they're
driver's
in the
seat.
driver's seat. They have the
You're,
better players. They have the more
and
consistent players. They have the better coach. They're at home.
keep talking. I can't
They
wait
have
till
the
next.
better coach.
Hey, no, this is remember this is your
Questionable.
team
I don't
too.
know.
You know what I was
No.
calling this team
You
for a
you
while.
call
This is
you've
your
been
team.
calling them hipsters. You never believed in
Is
them yet. They've been more
these are your
consistently
guys.
better than you. So
Put your
for
put
me,
your glasses back
no.
on.
From 15th place, I'm not really trying to hear all this talk
I
about how
Skip
they're the better
Bayless.
team. Talk
Hey,
about your team, maybe.
put your
Don't talk about how
glasses
they're
back
the
on.
better team. They can maybe be on the same amount of points as us, but yeah, I'll give them their goal differential. They are in the driver's seat. And why I know we're gonna go win that match is because we have to go take it from them. We have to go take it,
I can't.
and that's a mentality.
I can't wait
We
till
have to
next
go
week.
take it.
Whoa.
No.
7
I
a.m., man.
fully
It's the first game on
believe.
Sunday.
I fully believe, and I said this a few weeks ago. Out of our last four, this is going to be the most important match. I've been saying this. Y'all didn't want to listen. I've been saying this Newcastle one. Out of the four,
Yeah.
this Newcastle is the most important match because
That's
it dictates
the
what
only
happens the
one.
rest of the season. Like
Yeah.
I said, I didn't expect to get 3 from Liverpool. The fact that we got 3 from Liverpool gives me more confidence we're going to get 3 next week. So that's just how I feel about it. But
Yo, I'm on
You
Cornelius'
let them give
boat.
you let them give you false hope. Now I can understand.
That's
I can
okay.
understand
Maximum
I can
points.
understand because of
I
I
will
can
ride with
understand
this
because of the
team
momentum and this and that.
till the wheels
But
fall off.
boy,
Till the
y'all
wheels fall off.
gassing it.
That's okay.
Okay.
That's
Are you
okay.
sure?
Hey,
I mean, let's
it's
talk
it's
about
all business.
you guys.
Yeah, man.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
Listen,
So
I'll keep. If you want to talk, we can. There's no reason to talk about us.
I mean,
We
we were
lost to
gonna go
There's no
Bournemouth
into it.
2-1.
We're gonna
reason.
go
There's
into
no
Europe.
reason.
Yeah.
Nah,
You
we
play
can go.
Liverpool next week. You better get a win, or,
Nah, let's
or
get
else you be
hold on
fourth.
before we're gonna do that in predictions, man. Gabriel, how did we
Yeah.
do
We're getting into
locks of the week?
Um,
I know I
on
won.
locks of the week, Salam got his. Mike, I don't believe. Yeah, so or Aston Villa got theirs as well. They got their dub this week
I'm on a 3-game
um,
winning streak or
against
4-game winning
Fulham.
streak.
Cornelius, I forgot. I forget. I'm sorry, my mind is scrambling. Cornelius, what was your lock of the week again?
I gotta look it up.
Oh, sorry. Pull it real quick.
Hey, we need to tally these locks because I feel like I haven't missed in a long time.
Everton,
I
Ipswich.
feel like I haven't missed in a long time.
I'm dead. Everton, Ipswich, Cornelius, unfortunately did not hit.
Yeah.
And mine, of course, did not hit his either. So yeah, no, we went 2 for 2. Good week, but 2 for 2.
Sick, man. I can't find this sound. I was about to play it on New Cornelius. It's my turn. You ever ask it, Valus? It's
Yeah.
my turn. Now let's do predictions, man. Big one in Champions League. I feel like both games, honestly.
Yeah.
Unlike the Europa League games, these games are actually pretty close and still a lot to play for, man. Let's start with Barcelona versus Inter. I don't know if you guys were even able to catch that game.
I actually
Exciting game.
rewatched that game.
Yeah. 3-3.
Yeah.
Amazing.
When I got out, I
Amazing.
was seeing best game this season. I'm like,
Amazing.
yeah, I watched the highlights and I'm like, nah, I gotta watch this. I gotta watch the whole thing. And my goodness. Just when I thought, Barcelona could just, cakewalk this to the final, I don't Inter's not ready to let that happen. So to be honest, going back to Italy, I don't know, man. I think it could be anybody's game. it really could be anybody's game. But from what Barcelona have showed me this season, I'm gonna go with Barcelona. You know, closing it out and making it to the Champions League final. Because from the way things look, I think it's theirs to lose right now. So I'm gonna go with Barcelona. I'll say 2-1, 2-1 Barca for the second leg.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna side with Barca, man. I said this last week. I think that when you have Lamine Yamal on your team, you have a chance. And I think even without Lewandowski, they still look dangerous. We're still able to come back and get the draw. Rafinha, brilliant goal on his part. Brilliant goal from Yamal as well too. So, and I mean, nah, bro. I think Barcelona has really showed me kind of what Real Madrid had the past few years in the Champions League, where it was
That magic.
they're yeah, they're just like that little bit of a magic, right? Like they're gonna get that goal, they're gonna get that late goal. They've done that in the Copa del Rey not too long ago against Real Madrid, and like you would have thought. I think when Real Madrid went up in that game in the second half, you would have thought the game was kind of dead and gone right there. And out of nothing, Barcelona scores the equalizer in stoppage time and ultimately ends up, winning the Copa del Rey. But yeah, man, I don't see this Inter team slowing down Barcelona, man. I not at all. I think the best player on both teams is on Barcelona. The best player in the tournament is on Barcelona. And also, I was gonna save it to my shout outs, but I'll say it here, man. Shout out to Rafinha, man. I've been very critical about him, especially when he was on Leeds. I thought he was a very wasteful player when he was here in the Premier League. But there are two guys this year in Europe where I feel like, wow, you talk about redefining yourself as a player. The other player is Cunha, which hopefully, but I'm like, wow, Rafinha. Who would have thought, bro, that you're captaining Barcelona right now? Like, never, and I would I have ever imagined that. So, shout out to him, man. It's amazing because
You
where
come
he
around.
was when he
You
was playing
definitely
with
come
that
around.
Leeds, yeah, bro. Like it just, but I mean, it's been night and day though. It's like,
It has been. It
you
has
know what I'm
been.
saying? At Leeds, you were making so many poor decisions, like in front of goal, like you know what I'm saying. Like you're trying to go near post when you're at the touch line, like that's just. And now, I mean, he's is one of the favorites for the Ballon d'Or. I don't think he's the favorite right now. I think the favorite currently is,
Your mall is
No.
yeah. He
which is
after that goal, after that performance, yeah, he quickly his odds
Yeah.
went up for sure. For
I just
sure.
want to say though, there were two of us on this pod that really wanted Rafinha on our team, but
yeah,
you know
yeah.
how that went. We
He
believe
was
it's
wait,
all about
wait.
the
He
Cornelius. It's
wasn't
all
that
funny.
that was terms agreed, right? That
Yeah,
was
yeah,
terms
yeah.
agreed.
We were agreed until Barcelona came in, and he was like, "Oh, I'm definitely going to Barcelona." Then.
Damn, bro,
Yeah,
you guys
could
could
have
have
had
had
Rafinha.
Fina and Kunde. And looking
Yeah.
back, it's like you could have really. Well, I mean, you have
Mm-hmm.
Nani, right, and Tosin, so I guess you don't really
All
need
right.
that. But
Come on, you could pick anybody. Tosin, come
Yeah,
on.
that was crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But
I'm not gonna lie. Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
no, were you gonna no go? I was just gonna give my predictions, but
No, that's what I was gonna do. But I was gonna say I'm gonna go opposite. And I'm going against my gut right now.
no.
I just want to preface that what I'm going to say. I'm literally going against my
Okay.
gut right now. Because you're right. It is hard to bet against your mom, man. Even when they were down 2-0, it's never comfortable. It was just like, yo, this kid can score or assist at any given time. And that's exactly what he did. So it's going against my better judgment. But I am going to go with Inter. I'm going to go 2-1 Inter. And the only reason is because it is hard to go to Inter and get a dub, man. Tough. That's one. Honestly, out of all the teams that could break them down is Barcelona for sure, but I don't think this Inter team is conceding another 3 goals against anyone for the rest of the season. Um, I think away, of course, they had to chase a little bit, and they had to They had to do their thing in Barcelona, but I think when they go back, it's a San Siro, no, correct? Right?
Yeah.
Inter?
Yeah.
When they go back to the San Siro, I think home field advantage, 12th man in the crowd. This is not an Inter team that is new to this. They are true to this. Let's not forget. They were just in a final less than 3 years ago. I think that this team. I think that this team will pull out a dub, 2-0, 1-0, or 2-1 or 1-0. I think it'll be very very close margins, but defensively, man, I think they'll get it done at home. And that's the only reason. That's the only hope I have. Outside of that, I would definitely be picking Barcelona, but home field advantage definitely plays into Inter's hands really well this tie. So I'm gonna go Inter.
Yeah, I'm going to side with G as well. I mean, last week I said it. I said I think this is a trap game for Barcelona, and I said I thought it was going to be a trap game. But I still had Barcelona winning the match. And after seeing Inter being able to score three, I was like, if you can score three away, you can come back to the San Siro. Just like Gabriel said, it's tough to play in the San Siro. The Italian fans go nuts. So if they can score three away, come home, it's so tough. Like you guys said, this
Yeah.
Barcelona team does have that magic, but for some reason, something is telling me just be a contrarian right now. So I'm gonna go Inter. I want to say 3-2. I think they'll have to score three. They'll just have to limit Barcelona. And I think just being at home will help just that extra bit. But this is honestly very, very. This has been one of the more fun semifinal matchups in a while because I think both of these matches, going into the Arsenal match now, they really only need one goal to get it back. They only need
Hmm.
one. I know it's them going into the Parc de France, but um, this was another tough one. Gabriel, I'm just gonna start with you.
Um,
Uh, hmm.
Where do I even
What were
start
you?
with this
Hold on.
match?
Before we do that, what were your thoughts on the game? Just very briefly.
The Arsenal match.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Gabriel.
Um, hmm, hmm. I think uh, this is what
Because
I'll
I know
say.
what you said. I can bring up
No,
what you said.
no. This is what I'll say, and I'll articulate it because I wanted to save most of it for the pod. I didn't want to say too much in the chat. Our leaders failed us.
Hmm.
Our leaders point blank.
Leaders, plural.
Our leaders point blank period failed us, and I'll go into our two leaders who I'm speaking about. The first leader I'll talk about is Mikel Arteta.
Young
Okay.
He
Ma.
failed us this match. He failed us. It's point blank simple.
Young and May is crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm like,
Yeah,
I didn't even
yeah,
peep that. I didn't even peep that.
Wow.
I didn't even peep that one. I didn't
No,
peep that one.
I had to
Bio.
say
That's the
so.
That was
bio
crazy.
I'm
nation.
sorry, that was nuts.
That was
yeah,
crazy. I didn't even peep that one. That's a shout. That's a shout.
yeah.
Um, but no, Mikel Arteta failed us. I believe that, and I also didn't know that Jorginho was out prior to the match, so that's also another loss for us. But lineup wise, and I know there's not much you can do, but lineup. I mean, actually, there's not much you can do with the lineup. Where Arteta failed us was one tactically, the game plan tactically did not work, and that was very very clear from the jump. And two, his in-game management was poor. Um, and I'll go a little bit into that more when I speak about this second person. My goodness. Oh my goodness. I can go on a rant about this guy. Martin Odegaard. My goodness. My
Mo.
goodness. My goodness. My goodness. My goodness. Let me hold on. Let me take a sip of the juice.
Mo. We're calling him young
Because
Mohammed either.
because the way he has failed me this season, beyond just this game, the way he has failed me this season has been astronomical. And this match is just another glowing representation of who our best players. It's very, very clear and simple. I feel like Martin Odegaard should have been pulled off 70th minute, 65th minute easily. He was providing absolutely nothing for our team. Absolutely nothing for our team. And as a leader, as a captain, I believe, and I know personally that you hold yourself to a higher standard. I know you do. But there comes a point in the match where we've given you 65. We've given you an hour to prove yourself. You haven't proven anything. And this is why I go back to Mikel Arteta. Why wasn't Martin Odegaard pulled off? Our first substitution was made in the 70th minute, and it was Ben White for Jurrien Timber, down 1-0 at home. Someone please make that make sense to me. Why are we substituting a defender on down 1-0 at home in a Champions League match?
Because you need more reinforcements in the back. That's what he thought.
And then our second substitution is Ethan Nwaneri in the 90th minute.
Yeah, coward.
I watched Martin Odegaard stink it up for an hour and a half. An hour and a half before Mikel Arteta said, you know what, you need to come off the pitch. Why? This is when I want my manager to have cojones. Honestly, this is the time. Because I've seen you pull off Martin Odegaard in the 60th minute of other matches that aren't as important. I've seen it with my own eyes. You guys have seen it too. You put off Odegaard in the 70th? Whoa, we weren't expecting that. Down as well, because he was stinking it up. Why? In the most important match of not only this season, but in, I would say, even previous seasons. This is the most important match, I want to say, of his Arsenal career, but this is up there as one of the most important matches of your Arsenal career. So a guy is stinking it up, and you don't have the cojones to pull him off. It's an issue for me. It's an issue. I don't care who it is. It could have been Saka. I swear. I swear it could have been Saka. If he's sticking it up like that, put on Nwaneri. Take him off. Because why are you this bad? Why are you this poor? And I feel like even when Ethan Nwaneri came on in the 90th, 80-somethingth minute, right? We even got a chance from him being involved in the play. In that small bit of time that he was on the pitch. So what would 25 minutes would have done? 30 minutes would have done while we watched this guy hide behind defenders. Come on, man. Come on. It's absolutely ridiculous, bro. You have guys, you're getting, as a captain, you're letting Vitinha shove you off the ball, boss the midfield. Come on.
Man.
He's good.
I rock with young Vidi.
I like Vitinha, but come on.
He says baked Vidi over here, boy.
Come on. We're watching you get bossed around the entire midfield. And honestly, as a team performance, I want to just blame it on those two guys because those are the glowing two that I want to highlight for sure. But as a collective, it was just poor from top to bottom. That was the first 20 minutes were some of the poorest 20 minutes I've seen in the past 3 years. Easily. That was such a poor first 20 minutes. And honestly, I had a bad feeling as soon as from the kickoff. As soon as they pinned us into the right-hand side and we couldn't play out and we looked shaky, I said, I don't even like it. I hate this. Immediately. I knew something bad was going to happen because it looked shaky from the beginning. And I don't know why that is. Personally, I really don't know why. But it from that moment, I knew something bad was going to happen. And, we were able to get it together after that 20 minutes. Thank God we didn't concede 2 goals. But overall, as a performance, man, the entire team let me down. Timber, honestly, I've been raving about Timber all year. All year I've been raving about him. He didn't have his best match. He did not have his best match. It was a rough match for bro. Rough match. Trossard. Yeah. Rough match. Martinelli, another one. Rough match.
That guy.
These guys, man. These guys. And it was a different lineup than we've had previously with Moreno going in the midfield. But again, Moreno lost. Nowhere to be found in the midfield. It was Declan Rice by himself. Literally, Declan Rice was playing 3 positions. He was playing the 6, the 8, and the 10. It was so glaring how poor some of my players played. And it's very, very disappointing. Um, but with all that being said, I don't want to underestimate, and I want to emphasize how big of a loss Partey was for this match. And it's so stupid the reason that he was out this match for his dumb yellow card that he got the match previously is so stupid. And it's his own fault. It's our own fault. But with that being said, going into predictions, with Partey back in our midfield, Moreno going back to the 9, moving, whoever needs to be out wide or having Trossard come off the bench, I feel completely differently about this match. Even looking at the goal with Ousmane Dembele, Partey is in that position that if Declan Rice isn't even used to playing the 6 at this moment, he doesn't double down right there because usually he's either higher up the pitch and Partey is there. He wouldn't double down there. I know Partey. So it's a game of margins. You could say this is not the third, whatever. He scored the goal. Great finish by Ousmane Dembele. Honestly, amazing finish. But with that being said, I wholeheartedly believe that we will go to Paris and get a result. I'm confident. I'm very, very confident. And even if it goes into extra time, I'm very, very confident that we go into Paris and get a result. We lost the midfield in this previous match. We lost the midfield. The midfield was 100% theirs. They're able to control the match for majority of the match, and that's why we lost it. And I believe that has a large part to do with Partey not being in our midfield. And I believe that once you add Partey back into that midfield where he's been playing all season, he's been comfortable. Him and Declan Rice have a relationship. All 3 of them in the midfield have a relationship. Moreno's been our 9 for the past, 10 weeks now. He feels comfortable more in that 9 role than he does in the 6 role. He really hasn't played in the midfield for us that much at all, if I'm being honest. Starting or, even when he got brought into the team, he wasn't even starting in that role, and rarely got minutes there. So I feel like once we add Partey back to that midfield, we're going to get that goal. I'm not even really worried about not getting that goal. I think we'll get that goal. It's a matter of, can we hold them and can we advance and potentially end it in Paris? So for me, 2-1 Arsenal, 3-1 Arsenal at Paris. We've done it before. I full-fledgedly believe that we'll do it again. And it really just it's going to be tough. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but if you really look at it, Doué, he didn't really do much. I'm sorry, he really didn't do much. Outside of Kvaratskhelia, right? Outside of the assist that he got, great assist, good job. Outside of that, didn't really do much. If I'm being completely honest, I trust my outside backs. I trust us going up against them 1v1 with Partey in our midfield. I trust that we'll win the midfield, and winning the midfield is going to win us this game. I think last match proved that to you. If we can boss the midfield, you can boss the match. And I wholeheartedly believe that we can do that with Partey in our midfield. So 3-1, 2-1 Arsenal, we advance. Even if it's with extra time, we move. And that's that. But we're going to a Champions League final. Put that on wax. Heard it here first.
So, yeah, Barcola could have ended it. He could have made it too.
Listen, Barcola could have ended it. All those things could have ended it, but they didn't. And going over there with a 1-0 lead is not enough. I'm sorry, it's not enough. Honestly, a 2-0 lead wouldn't have been enough. And kudos to the boys for holding it to 1-0. And honestly, before I go out of here, I don't even have to speak about Saka because he already knows how I feel about him. And you guys already know how I feel about him. But shout out David Raya, because my goodness, he bailed us out at least 2 to 3 times this match. It could have been 3-0. It could have been 2-0, which made it harder. And because we have Raya in our goal, he saved us. Nothing you could do on that first goal, unfortunately. But outside of that, he did his job to perfection. Shout out David Raya. Like I said, I full-heartedly believe that we will get a result in Paris, and you will see us in the final against Inter or Barca. That's it for me.
And Gabriel said, Barcola, Nicola, Rico.
Arsenal in 2.
Arsenal, dude.
Hey, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
No,
man.
I think
Rico,
I honestly believe that I don't think you guys win the next game, but I think you also have a chance because PSG is not Parc de France is not a place where I would necessarily call a fortress. So going in there, I don't think there's any like environmental pressure from the stadium that's gonna make it
I don't think
difficult.
there is
But
either.
I just still don't know if you guys come out with a win. I just don't see
Romantada.
it. I just don't see it. But
Romantada.
we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
It's a must win for y'all, man. This is a big game for y'all.
Big game. Big
Uh,
game.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen.
I just don't see Arsenal winning this game. I just don't
I've
see
been rocking with PSG all year. I
Yeah.
think look, I think like Gabriel said, they have a good chance with Partey back, but if you guys overcommit, don't forget who they got. They got too
True.
many fast players on the counter. So I think that will be Arsenal's downfall. If you guys cannot score early, then you'll try to force something, you'll get beat on a counter. But we're gonna see, man. I think it's gonna be a very interesting match.
See, where I think we'll be okay is because they got the goal, right? So, and honestly, I hope he plays. I don't even. Well, I mean, not even lie. I hope he doesn't play. But for the sake, I hope he does play. I hope he's healthy. I hope he's not injured. I don't want anyone to be injured. But Usman Dembele, he has an injury right now. He has a knock. It's unconfirmed he's going to play or be available for the Champions League match or not. So my thinking is, even when Usman Dembele did play, outside of the goal, they really did not have much. So when they go into this match in Paris, they're going to sit back because they don't want to concede. They're not going to just advance forward. And they may, if they do, great. Just leave more of an opening for us. Honestly, great if they do that. But for me, I feel like they're going to sit back a little bit more. We're going to dominate possession a little bit more for the reasons I said. I think our midfield is much, much better than theirs. And I think that we're just going to have to be on the ball more because obviously we're chasing that game. But if they decide to sit back, I think we're good enough to break this PSG team down, hands down, and get a goal. 100%. I do believe that we'll be able to break this team down. And when the game opens up, may the best man win. I think that we're better than them, and I think that we'll actually get that second goal. We'll get that third goal. But it's gonna be tough. And also, I want to give one more shout out, man. Shout out Donnarumma, man. Jeez, Donnarumma had a match, bro. He had a match denying Trossard, denying. I think it was it Martinelli? He denied someone else.
Martinelli, yep.
Two massive saves. Just great, just a great goalkeeper, man. Honestly, just all in all, we've been watching this kid since what, we were 6. He was 16, 17, making his debut. Just an all in all great keeper. So it's going to be tough, but like I said, fully believe we beat this team 2-1, 3-1 up the arse.
I think also that what we have to take into account is the managers. I think Luis Enrique is a better manager than Arteta. I think he's going to set up his team to do what they need to do to get out of there with a result. And that's why my belief is also in PSG in this second leg. I don't think it just comes down to, they're going to sit back and, try to absorb you guys and maybe beat you on the counter. I think their manager is just better than your manager, and we'll have something prepared for you guys. And your manager has not showed me in a lot of games that he can come up with a crazy, well, except for the Madrid game. But I also feel like Madrid has not been that same team. I didn't have Madrid going past Atletico, and they did. So I didn't expect them necessarily to do something crazy against Arsenal, even in the second game. But overall, I think PSG moves on, in my opinion, because I think it comes down to just experience with the manager. I feel like he's just going to set his team up better than you guys as manager can do. So I'm not threatened by what Martinelli is going to do. It's not going to scare me, but I'll be more scared of what Kvaratskhelia or Dembele can do. And to me, that's the angle I'm going with.
I feel that. I mean, no, that makes sense. I think it's gonna. All the European matchups are gonna be good.
Absolutely. I
took
don't
a little
think we see a
timeout.
blowout in any of these next games.
Yeah, I don't either. I
Yeah.
think they're going to be nail biters end to end. Champions League semi type.
Absolutely,
This is for
absolutely.
all the marbles, bro. At this point,
And I'll be surprised if Arsenal doesn't score. I think they still score. I think
oh,
Arsenal
100.
can
Bro,
still
you guys are
score.
geeked if you think we're
I
going
just
out of here
don't. I just
goalless.
don't.
No. Ain't
I'm
nobody
I
sorry,
saying
just
that.
don't
you guys
see
are off
the
the
Nobody
winning.
sauce.
say all that. No. I'm not saying that.
I'm letting
No,
you
no,
guys know.
no.
I'm letting you guys
No, I
know
know you
right
guys will
now.
score. I
You
know
you
you will
guys want to
score. I
lock both
just,
teams? I'll give you guys a free play. Both teams to score. Both
yeah,
teams to
both
score
teams to
in
score. Yeah,
this time.
absolutely,
100%.
absolutely.
We're scoring. Lock in the soccer GA too. It's happening, bro. I'm telling you, it's happening. And this is us down to Partey and our captain playing like he pulled an all nighter. No, don't worry,
Whatever,
don't worry.
man.
If if somehow number 8 can decide to actually play how he's supposed to play with Partey in the middle, I am not worried. I'm not worried, bro. It's calm. It's calm before Wednesday, bro. It's calm. Like I
From
said,
Arteta.
I don't care about Bournemouth this past weekend. That I don't care about it. All I care about is Wednesday. Come next week when you guys see me on the pod next week. Even if you see me, barring the result, we'll talk. We'll talk.
But yeah,
Uh, if I'm Arteta, start Waneri, man. Do
No,
you
something
can't. You can't
ballsy.
do
no,
Don't
that.
play
you're not
Frank.
starting Waneri. You're
You
not
can't.
starting Waneri,
I would start him.
but I'm
I would
Can't do
start him.
that.
saying this isn't the time. This isn't
But
the
He's
he on
young
thin
and
time.
ice.
naive
But
enough. He's young
But
and
he's on
naive
thin
enough.
ice. I agree. He should be
He's
on thin
young and
ice.
but
naive
this
enough
is this
to.
is Mike. I'm not gonna lie. This is one of those matches where, bro, if I watch you stink it up for 45 minutes, I swear, if I'm Arteta, I watch you stink it up for the first half. I go to him at half and I say, look, you have 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes to do
Yeah,
something. If you don't do anything in 10
that's
minutes,
fair. That's
then
fair.
Waneri's on. Simple as
That's
that.
fair.
Because I don't have the time. We don't have the time, bro. We don't have the time. We're
All right.
looking for
All
to
right.
win a
No,
trophy.
you don't.
So
All right. Enough about Chelsea. I know you're very emphatically heated, but Chelsea, we see we're at home against Drew Garden. Look, we are already up 4-1. Let's play all the kids. Let's let
Yeah.
everyone who didn't get run this past weekend get a run because the
and
big
Cuckoo.
match is this weekend.
Yeah.
Newcastle away. That is the match.
Yeah.
Honestly, 2-1. I think we get out of there 2-1. We
Yeah.
beat them 2-1 at home this year. I feel very confident that we can go there and get a result. I'm saying 2-1.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for the Conference League game, I agree with you. Use it as an opportunity to get French guys some playing time and
Dewsbury
young
Hall.
guys some. Yeah, the Drewsbury Halls, the Badia Shields, the Nkunkus. He's not even been playing in those competitions because, from what Maresca said, it seems like there's some friction there. But I'm glad how they've been able to keep that quiet. But anyways, just get the
When you're
result.
winning. When you're winning, it
Let's
clears
move
all.
on to the next round. Exactly. Newcastle. I'm going to say 2-1 on Newcastle. St. James Park, we're coming. We've done it before. They know who we are. I know they're going to be ready for us, but we're coming. And I think we get the result. I really, truly believe we do get the result at St. James Park. I agree with Cornelius. I think we're going to sweep the rest of the season. I think we're going to go through getting 3 points from every game we play from here on out. And Liverpool was fun. Newcastle's next, and I think this is where it really matters from here on out. So 3 points on Newcastle, 2-1. It's my prediction.
Mr. Endelou.
United.
Yeah, man. So I just wanted to start with, I thought the Lyon game was the best game I had ever seen. I have seen so far this season, but that was topped with what happened in Spain. You couldn't have told me 3-0 was going to be the final score when I woke up that day. But here we are, man, about to scam our way back into the Champions League. I said it a few weeks ago. I think that we are going to win the Europa League. We're already in the final. As far as the game goes, I think that we started off slow, and then I'm not quite sure what happened with Atletico Bilbao, but I mean, we killed them. We absolutely killed them. We dominated them. This is the fourth team. This is the fourth standing team in La Liga, by the way, and we are where we are, 15th, 16th. So, yeah, man. I also said this a few weeks ago, and he was going to be one of my shout outs, but I wanted to say this. Casemiro, man. I said a few weeks ago that if we're going to win the Europa League, he has to play a crucial part in that. His experience is invaluable. His goals, I mean, he's just clutch. This whole Europa League, and then you had, the goal in the first leg that ultimately, got us up and going. And I felt like from that moment we didn't look back, and his experience, man, is so invaluable to us. And I can't speak highly enough of him, and I fully believe that he's going to help us secure this Europa League title and get back into the Champions League. So shout out to him, man. Obviously, you can't, where you are in your career, you can't play week to week and, up for the physical demands of, what the Premier League asks for, especially in your position. But in Europe, he's been exceptional. So, and Bruno Fernandes, I feel like this second part of the season for him since January has been great. Probably, I would say the best version I've seen of him has been how he is now and when he first came in that first season. So, I mean, shout out to him, man. Shout out to Ruben Amorim, coach. I can't speak highly of him, man. I really can't speak highly of him. About to get himself a trophy in what? 4 months, 5 months. So shout out to you, brother. I'll see you guys in the Europa League final. I don't know where it is. I think it's actually in Spain.
Yeah, it's at the Bilbao Stadium.
It's at the Bilbao Stadium. Okay. So,
book your flights. You're going back to Spain.
No, just stay. We don't even need to play these Premier League games. Just stay in Spain, man. And hopefully, I hope we do see Tottenham. I want to see, obviously how things play out in leg 2 with them. But if we see Tottenham, it's very favorable. Yeah, you guys won't hear the end of it. 3 trophies in 3 years. Some men, the same person who told you, Cornelius, that you probably wouldn't, probably not going to get any points from now until the end of the season. Oh, some people were seething when they saw Casemiro score that header. My God. When we lift that trophy, I won't be looking over to you as well too. Wow, I'm not even going to look. You know how usually they look at the camera. I'm going to be looking when I lift the trophy. So I wasn't even speaking with the mic, but Casemiro, man. Let's go do shout outs. You guys have any shout outs? I have a few.
Shout out the Philadelphia Union. Once again, just bossing it, man. As a club, I was really, really, really impressed with you guys opening goal this past weekend. Just a great team. I love Philly. As a just personal note, always love Philly. Big Liberian community out there too. So big ups to the Philadelphia Union for sure.
Shout out to my Chelsea FC boys, man, and San Diego Wave for getting the win tonight. 2-1 win at home, San Diego Wave. Another goal from my girl Armstrong. Was not expecting, them to, come out like this and get, last minute winner in the 95th minute, but big win for them. So shout out to them. And then shout out to what's his name? Columbus Crew FC, Dylan Chambos, man. First goal for the crew. So I'm glad he, was able to enjoy his goal this weekend against Charlotte FC. So shout out to him.
Yeah, I got I said one of mine earlier. Cesc Fabregas, wanted to give him just another shout out here at the end of the episode. Like Mike said, shout out Chelsea, but also shout out Gift Monday, striker for the Washington Spirit. She's been playing in Trinity stead. 2 goals on the season. She scored this past weekend as well on Friday, even on the loss. But she is dangerous, bro. She's very, very quick and she has a crazy shot. She's going to be very, very good for this Washington Spirit team. So just wanted to give her a shout. Nigerian sister over there in the DC area.
What's up? I got 2, man. So I'm sure you guys have heard this story circulating this past week, but Richard Kone is going to be my shout out this week. Probably one of the most incredible stories in football this year. So back in 2019, he was homeless, representing Ivory Coast in the Homeless World Cup. He stayed in non-league, scored over 100 goals, and kept working. Fast forward to January, still in the 9th tier. He got a trial with Wickham, signed his first pro contract, and is now their starting number 9. Scored 18 goals, added 3 assists, and just won both League One Player and Young Player of the Season. So from being homeless to being the best player in the league,
What a story.
That's crazy. Yeah, shout out, man.
Yeah, man, persistence there. Shout out to you. My second shout out goes to KK Ream of the Utah Royals. This past weekend, she became the youngest player to ever start an NWSL match at 15 years, 9 months, and 26 days. She started against the North Carolina Courage this past weekend, making it her third appearance on the season. So a huge moment for her and for the league. I know a few weeks ago we talked about Mac Woodham, and here's another young star in the NWSL. And I love seeing, these teams giving these kids an opportunity, man. And these kids are taking advantage of these opportunities. So
Yeah.
Shout out to her, man, KK Ream.
Shout out. Shout out.
All right.
But yeah, with all the technical difficulties we had, I think we should probably end it here because so appreciate everybody for tuning in and kicking back with us.
Absolutely.
As always,
Shout out.
good luck to you in your future endeavors.